Hi, my name is Vivian Oliver-Hernandez. I am your Carl Wunschie Senior High School Digital Learning Coach Literacy, and in this tip of the week, I am focused on the top 5 tips of what you can do while listening to podcasts in the classroom, lesson, or environment. So I highly encourage the use of podcasts for literacy reasons. I can go on and on about why and how they are effective, but down below I have included the resource link to tell you about, if you're not using podcasts yet, why you should use those podcasts inside of the classroom. It really does help in summary with the listening skills, the reading comprehension skills, and it builds vocabulary in a unique, authentic way when you give your students the opportunity to listen to those podcasts related to your content area inside of your classroom lessons. Now, sometimes I do get questions, okay, I understand why, I want to do it, that sounds awesome, but how? How do I make sure the student stays engaged while listening to those podcasts? Because it's one of those things where you can't simply just say, all right, we're going to spend 10 minutes, everybody listen, let's start. Because how do you track that? What do you do with that, right? That's kind of where you're at sometimes. So you know why, but how do you make it more effective? Here are the 5 reasons of why. So in summary, you can use the listening to podcasts as part of what you're already doing. So if you're using talk, read, talk, write, then what the read part can be is reading, listening to a podcast. So you'll talk first, give them a provocative question, get their minds going of thinking. Read, which is listening to that podcast, because that is in itself reading. Talk about the podcast, host a classroom a turn and talk or table talk of the podcast they just listened to, have them have a discussion or with habits of discussion, and then write, which is asking them to write a summary of what their takeaway was. Now, another thing you could do while your students are listening to a podcast is really encourage them to annotate and take notes and timestamp things that they're listening to. Now, you can do this full discussion listening, or you can put this podcast inside of your LMS Schoology and have your students listen with their own headphones while taking notes and keeping track that way as well. Sometimes our students also, I saw this and I thought it was cool, you can take those annotations and notes that are usually handwritten words and make it visual. Tell your students, as you're listening to this story or as you're listening to this retelling of what happened in history or whatever your content area is, draw a picture describing what you're listening to. Sometimes that's fun, it's low stakes, it doesn't have to be for a grade, but it keeps them engaged with what they're listening to. And then sometimes it's just, you might be concerned, well, what if they get disengaged? I want them to just listen. I don't want them to be drawing, but sometimes our hands, we need something to do, and I don't want them to fidget. Giving them a simple coloring thing or a piece of paper and telling them to just draw or color will help them stay focused sometimes on that podcast as well. And then in conclusion, another awesome idea I saw was, after your students listen to that podcast, further extending the learning into an actual project-based learning activity and having them explore that topic even further with their own research. So those are the top 5 tips of how to use podcasts in the classroom. What I'm going to go into next is how you can use Schoology, and if students want to go ahead and create their podcast, how you can do that using Schoology, because they do have the ability to record themselves. So let me show you how. So I'm first going to show you the student view of how they can record themselves. If you as the teacher created a Schoology discussion type, what they can do as a student is when they go in and go to comments, instead of just being typed based, where they write out the answer and type it out here for that discussion, what they can do instead is redirect them to go to that audio video recording feature. And then from here, they can go ahead and record audio only or audio and video. If you're encouraging them in this project or discussion to discuss and to record themselves only, then you can do audio only. You would click that, click start recording. It will record you, hello, hello, stop. And then the student can preview themselves. Once they're happy, they click insert recording, and then it will be part of that. Oh, and then click post, and then it becomes part of that discussion where other students can listen and reply. If they click reply, a student can reply again with a audio as well, to really encourage that use of video and audio within our Schoology discussions. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, that's great for a Schoology discussion. What about assignment? If you have a Schoology assignment, it is almost the same. What you can do is when they're here and they submit their assignment, for me, I'm going to do resubmit because I already submitted something, but it looks the same. Right here, after I click on it, I would direct the students to go to that audio video recording feature and follow the same steps, practice recording, practice getting that down, insert the recording, and then submit that to you as well. So definitely 2 things to consider doing in your classroom. It is easy to do with Schoology, and just capture the recording there, and it will help with TELPAS and in their future as they continue to grow with their communication skills. Now, as a teacher, to set that up, all you would go to in Schoology is add materials. For an assignment, add assignment, fill in everything you need to do, and it will automatically be parts of that assignment, so you don't have to do anything extra. Just redirect the students after you post it to the audio video recording feature, because again, it's automatically there. Now for the discussion, same thing. You would go to add materials, go to where it says add discussion, fill in the title, description, grading, etc., post it, and again, don't have to do anything extra. It will automatically be there. You just may want to put in the instructions that the students need to record themselves and direct them to where to go. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. I would be more than happy to come into your classroom to observe, capture some students being engaged with pictures, or to also co-teach and help you out when it comes to implementing something awesome such as podcasts within your classroom lessons. If you have any questions, again, I'm here for you. I hope you have an awesome, great weekend day, whenever, wherever you're watching this. And yeah.